Excuse me, sir. Have you ever been broke before?
Yes.
How did you end up affording a Cybertruck like this?
Jump in and I can tell you how I did it.
Bro, you made it. Everyone made it. Let's go! Absolutely insane. What's your final MRR that month?
230, yeah.
230K in 1 month. You win a Cybertruck. Yeah, how did you feel?
It was just a relief, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went crazy like the last day, and we stayed up for like 48 hours and did the live stream thing. But it was a lot of fun, and shout out to Keytron as well.
Yeah,
like
100%.
it was the perfect
Competitor?
competitor.
Genuinely?
Yeah, it was.
rival.
Yeah,
You need that sometimes.
yeah.
It's got the perfect name to be a rival as well.
He sounds like a powerful, like Power Ranger opponent.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I feel like without that, we wouldn't have bust our ass as hard as we did. Like, seriously.
No way, no
like,
way.
he really just lit a fire under our ass.
Yeah.
Not only did the games do that, but, like, the competition was insane. And it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like you just said, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, and Dan, I remember Kirby and I, we were doing the end call with a bunch of other people, and we tuned into your live stream,
Yeah, it was
and I remember I literally said, so, dude, bet you Dan's gonna cry.
Yeah.
I was like, I just knew it. I was like, you put your heart and your soul and your energy into like this whole school journey for you.
Literally.
So like, what happened whenever
yeah.
the clock struck midnight or whatever it was?
Yeah, I saw that you said that in it, and the moment that we won, like for me, like it was so like overwhelming. I could like, it felt like I just turned off all my emotions for like the last week and just grinding, keeping going. And the moment that we won, I allowed myself to feel, and it was just, it's not just like that those 4 weeks, right? It's the entire journey up to that moment, to even being able to participate and having the chance to be winning.
Yeah.
And then you're there, you did it, and yeah, it was really overwhelming and beautiful.
Yeah,
And very grateful.
you become the type of guy that can be on a team like this
Yes.
to compete in a competition on that level. It literally is like we joke all the time. It's like Charmander evolving into Charmeleon.
Yes.
It's like you feel that you're like, ah! And it's emotional, man. Like I cry in moments like that too.
Yeah.
Good time.
And like Dan, like we all worked really hard, but Dan busted his
Yeah,
ass,
it was-
dude. Like I can't even explain it. It's crazy.
Like that is very easy to see how he feels. If he's happy, he's very happy.
Yeah.
If he's not happy, like you see it immediately. And I walked out and I saw him sitting there and like been doing calls and calls and calls. I'm like, how you doing? And you're like, I'm feeling sick. You pushed yourself super hard. It was insanely hard.
Bro, Dan puts the madness in Season of Madness.
Yeah.
You should be the mascot going forward. So Max, we've chatted lots and lots of times, and I remember one part of your story. You had, started your entrepreneurial journey. You had experienced a little bit of success, and then you hit like a rock bottom moment. You moved like back in with your parents.
Yeah.
And you had a whiteboard. Was it a whiteboard?
Yeah.
And you wrote like a bunch of stuff on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
And you'd locked in. You're like, I have to make this work.
Yeah.
So like, what were some of the things that you'd written on the whiteboard, and have they come true?
Yeah, like one thing was I wrote like, I have 2 choices. Either I make it work or I make it work. That was basically it. And then my girlfriend at the time, she just broke up with me at the same time. I was like, okay. I was like 20, how old was I? Maybe 25 or 26.
How many years ago is that?
I'm 33 now, so it was like 5 or 6. I've had my business for 7 years, so it's like when I started that.
Wow.
So it's not that cool to move back to your parents when you're like 26, 27 or whatever.
No.
And literally I had not a lot going for me. It was just like having an agency client and all of that. But yeah, that's just testing stuff and see what works.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear how you go from like this guy in the parents' house by himself to being surrounded by like just an incredible team. And this is just part of the team.
Yeah.
So how's that process been like for you, building the Avengers?
Like building the team has been super organic, and that's a lot of thanks to Skool, just the community side of things. Yeah. Like I didn't hunt for any of these guys. It was more so like we found each other in the community, and all of them had like ideas that they wanted to bring in. I'm like, okay, let's test it out, and then it worked. I feel like that's kind of the madness of somebody who wanna do this entrepreneurial game as well, is that you're kind of delusional because you're just testing stuff until it works. type of thing.
Yeah.
And everybody does it on different levels, obviously.
Mhm.
You know, if we did it, if we feel like we're in small little shits that we've said before, like it compared to a lot of, like we just want to, we're like here, and then you look up to all of these other ones, they're huge. So,
Yeah, every time you level up, the boss gets bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's so much to learn; it never ends. You know?
So even like your school journey alone, you've constantly made these, I would say, like pretty big bets.
Yeah,
So, you know,
a lot thanks to you as well.
yeah. But last January, you know, you sat down over the course of a weekend and you recorded a 7-hour masterclass.
Yeah,
And now 1 year later, you have like this insane business called Skool Masterclass.
yeah.
You've won the school games. I don't know how many times. How many times have you guys won the school games? You're like, yeah, it's like 4 to 7, I think. So how did you have the proof that you can take a risk and you can get a reward. How did you start to approach this like season of madness, the battle royale? Did you know for sure that you wanted to compete? And when did you guys like decide, yeah, we're actually going to full send this?
Well, you're just forced into competing.
It was like, yeah, it was an obligation. Like we saw it and we were like, that's what we're doing next month. Yeah, like, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because we were in Sweden at the time, weren't we? When we
Yeah.
heard about it
Yeah.
all, and we kind of like looked at each other after Sam did his like announcement and everything. We
Yeah.
were like, I remember you saying it. Like, well, I think maybe I said it. I was like, we're gonna double our business, and we just knew that we were just gonna do it. Like when just in that moment, we were like, okay, here we go. Like this is the kick up the ass we needed.
That's the power of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So simple, but it's like it's something in the brain of people who are doing this thing that you just have to do it. It's a lot of fun, and it's great. It pushes people. So yeah.
Yeah, it is such an insane concept to bring that sports world to entrepreneurship.
No.
Because it's kind of there a little bit, like maybe people are chasing status or maybe they're chasing impact or maybe they're chasing followers, but to have it just so brutally like MRR ranked everybody, it just like it's created this really a mad atmosphere.
Yeah.
So how's it been different from winning the games the first time and then the 2-3 months after that to this month? Like what does the last 4 weeks look like for you guys as a team?
Yeah, the biggest difference from the first and this one was that was just me trying to piece everything together myself. And now this time around, it was just a huge team effort. I would never have been able to do this myself. I don't think none of us had been able to do it ourselves.
Right.
It's like, it's crazy, and it's so weird that all of our skills just we complement each other very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that's the biggest part. Like the how good our synergy is. It's like as one mastermind. If one falls down, like the other one catches him up, and we all just make sure we are all performing our best and getting the results that we all want together. I think that's our biggest secret. Our team,
Yeah.
like for real.
It's just our synergy with each other. Like he just said, right? There's never a moment where all of us will be down because neither one of us would let that happen, right? Like if one person's down, they're getting picked back up. And if the other person, like we're just constantly making sure that we're all on pace to do great.
Yeah.
There's something to be said as well. Like there's something to be said about meeting up in person. We said this last time we met up.
Yep.
Like we did huge things when we met up last time. We rebranded from Max Premium to Skool Masterclass. This time, like meeting up in person.
Because of this guy, by the way.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's crazy. And like, when we met up this time, and I don't know if you guys, well, I think you'd agree, like we wouldn't have done the same MRR if we didn't meet up like a week before.
Yeah.
Because we were just all in, and you'll see it in like the vlog we're releasing, all in this small Airbnb, just like in like a boiler room, just like working, like thinking about living school, and kind of, yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. But it's like we always talk about, it's like the hobbits.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're Frodo, you have this vision, you meet Sam Ovens, who's like the Gandalf, and you're like, okay, here's a prize, here's something to go for, you go for it, and along the way, organically through the community, like all of a sudden, like Sam shows up, Merry and Pippin show up, and you guys go on this like insane journey together. Because I've watched in real time, you guys transform from like being in the same community to working together to like the brotherhood. Like that first time in Vegas when you guys all got together, like it was palpable. You could see it happen in real time. What's that been like for you guys? Because you're a dude from Sweden, UK. You're the only American. I'm glad you're here for diversity purposes. And Holland.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a like every hero's journey band. It's like it's a bunch of weird dudes. An assortment of characters, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's that been like for you guys on a personal level? Like, have you had like that sort of deep bonds and connections with people before?
No. And it's almost like we're more connected because we're so different in some ways, right? Like, since we're all apart from each other, is that we're actually like make sure that we're just that much more personal with each other, because that's kind of what builds the brotherhood, right? Yeah, I don't think any of us have ever experienced. I've never even been on a team like this, otherwise like a brotherhood. But like, yeah, it's insane and it's really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and to have people that also care about entrepreneurship, like all my friends in the UK, like well, I used to be friends with, they just wanted to go out, party, drink, like whatever.
Yeah.
But having friends that actually care about the same stuff and are working on it with you, like that's crazy powerful.
Yeah, for sure. And I tried a lot of times to like bring the right people together, basically. But even if you have the right people together, if you don't have that same common goal, you're gonna lose out on each other.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful of us because we are exactly all aligned on like what we want to do on our goal, and we all like our life is this shit.
Yes.
Like it's our life.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we can like connect so deeply, and we all want this.
It's one of the reasons why I'm so bought in, and I like give up everything to go on this Skool dream as well. It's because I fundamentally believe in the model, like because it's what humans have been doing forever. It's like we're supposed to live in these like tribe like groups.
Yeah.
It's like very deep, like a shared goal, shared objective, going out together to like get the thing, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
And the reason why I love it as well is because when we try to do it internally, we try to set the standard for the community owners. And then you guys as community owners set the standard for the people inside your own community. So how now, brown cow, no, just kidding. How now do you guys try to transmit some of that brotherhood and deep connection like within your community? You know what I mean? Because I fundamentally believe that the things that we do, it's all about like taking care of the next person.
I think we're trying to show it more. Like I think what we're going to release soon with the vlogs, and obviously we've got Aaron on the team now, who's like going to film everything we do going forward. I think just showing who we actually are and like showing our individual personalities, and I think that's going to come through really well in like the content we filmed recently. I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not just this like.
Yeah. And also trying to show what Skool, the aftermath of having a Skool community is like, right? Like none of this would have been possible without Skool. And we just want to show people a little bit more of like, what are the benefits after you kind of get rolling with Skool? Like look what it brings, right? Not in like a cocky way or anything like that, but just to show the reality of like, look at what Skool has done for us. And especially since we're helping other people do that on Skool. Yeah.
And you guys are like, I've heard you say this since the first time you and I chatted, Max, like just copy what works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's one of your like, if I cut you open, that's one of the things that falls out. It's just like copy what works.
Yeah.
And so you guys have experienced like coming to the Skool games, connecting with other people in person, and now you guys have rolled out your own mastermind.
Yeah.
So you're moving into that in-person stuff as well. Talk to me about that.
No, like just from a like egotistical standpoint, I love the mastermind because we're all running the same business model, but we have different businesses, right? Everybody's running Skool. We're playing this game with the same kind of on the same rules, but we all have different businesses. So Nicholas, for example, Nicholas Fowler from the mastermind, he's crushing it with TikTok.
Dude, he's a beast.
Yeah.
He is doing really
He's
well.
going to be here on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Looking
He's a
forward to
killer.
that.
Yeah.
No, but there's so many interesting individuals who have so much experience, like Angel as well, like who have so much experience in different fields, and then we can just take that into our own businesses and learn from each other. So just from my standpoint, I'm stoked to meet all of like everybody who's doing here as well, and with the Skool HQ and all of that. So no, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think that's kind of an interesting thing again, if you think about like the old way versus the new way. The old way is like, keep all the secrets, don't share any of the secret sauce. It's like, hush, hush. No, don't let that community do it.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's like everything's crowdsourced.
Yeah.
Everything's shared. And that's just a much funner way to do business.
Yeah. It's an open, like everybody can see what everybody's making as well. It also incentivizes like integrity, like actually making real connections with people. And that's something I think a lot about as well, that we're trying to, as we want to grow this thing now. Like, how do we do that in the right way? And like, because we've never done this before. We're gonna do it, like, we don't really know what we're doing. So it's just like keeping in mind that, hey, we just have to like really try to do it in a good way. Yeah.
And I think that's super refreshing for people to hear because, you know, they see Max Perzon, they see Skool Masterclass, they see you guys, you know, wow, they just won the Battle Royale, they won the Cybertruck. It's like, they must have it all figured out. They must know everything. And then you're over here and you're like, dude, we are so small, we don't know anything. Like, da, 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 da.
Yeah, it was so funny. We got someone from the mastermind saying, "Yeah, how did you do that live stream? It was like you planned that all out." And I was like, "You have no idea.
Yeah.
It was on the spot.
Yeah.
Like we were literally sitting by the fire, smoking some cigars." And we're like, "Fuck, Keith Friend's gonna like add like $60,000 in the last 2 seconds." Like we need to figure out something out. Max stands up, like, "Should we just like go live?"
Do it live.
like right now.
And then an hour later, we were just live streaming.
Yeah. But that's the thing that I feel like you don't know as a beginner that you know on the other side is that you just have to do a little bit of action.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't even have to really know what you're doing. You just have to do something.
Yeah. And copy what works.
And copy what works.
basically
Yeah.
it.
But it's refreshing because you now are taking on the role of Gandalf for a lot of people. So you're moving into this next stage of your hero's journey, which is now you're like taking care of the hobbits coming in the footsteps behind. And I think like I love the humility and I love the reality where you're just like, yeah, we're just figuring it out, bro.
Yeah.
It's good for people to hear.
No.
True.
Yeah.
So you guys are making all of you guys are making more money than you've ever made in your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, you got more connection and a sense of belonging than ever before,
Definitely.
bro. Like, what's the hard stuff? What's the challenge and stuff? Like, burst the bubble. Like, what do people not see?
Oh, I want to dive into that.
Do it.
It's like, I'm really realizing and feeling like the more successful you're becoming, the more you're attracting. So you have like more money,
Mm-hmm.
more success, also more problems.
Right. Biggie was right.
Literally. And I think like it's super important and more important than ever that we keep up with keep developing ourselves, keep like healing ourselves basically to keep up our personal like growth with the business growth and success that we're having.
Yo, that's insane because you've all heard that thing where it's like money doesn't change people, it just amplifies who they are.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just money, I think it's success and everything. It's like your blind spots get more blind and the gaps in your character get wider. And so that's insane what you just said.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's true.
Yeah.
So how are you going about doing that?
Well, for me, like I'm literally like surrounding myself with more healers and just like doing more sessions about like inner child healing and all that, just to make sure I stay in tune with myself and alignment.
This is a good question for you specifically, Dan. You obviously like you and I are quite similar in that we're like big feeler energy, operate a lot in the feminine energy. How do you balance that with also then like the hyper masculine, like I'm going to crush everybody in the games?
Comes in waves.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, so like in the past, I was really feminine because I grew up with like my mother and my sister.
Of course.
And then at one moment, my girlfriend broke up when I was like 20. And I was like so heartbroken and because I knew it was because I wasn't masculine enough. So that's basically like when I dove into like Hamza's courses and everything. Adonis game. I wanted to become an Adonis.
Bro's on a mewing streak. Shows up chiseled chin.
And I was literally like I only wanted to have masculinity, like no femininity at all. But then I realized like that's also not the way, right?
Sure.
So now I basically try to like stay in my masculinity a lot, but then also have moments where I tune into myself. And this can be like when I go for a walk or when I like literally or sitting at a tree, like touching the tree and just like letting that energy come through myself so that I can stay in alignment with that side of myself as well.
For sure. Because if you take, I don't know, do you guys know what Jenga is? Is that like a global game?
Yeah.
The little blocks where you build, take a block out. It's like you're like part of the Jenga tower now because if we take the feeling part out of this team, it's like things starts to get wobbly. So it's like by you not tapping into that, you actually are, it's a disservice to, you know, everyone that you serve and the team that you're a part of as well.
Yeah.
It's helped us a lot with it as well. Like for me specifically, like just telling us that we're nothing and we need to be humble. And they're like,
You're a shit.
In the grand scheme of things, like
Thanks,
we are
Dad.
nothing, right? It's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like there's a lot of big entrepreneurs and we're just getting started. So just remembering to be humble and just like grounded and just don't do stupid changes. Invest
Sure.
money and just
Yeah, and just some context on that. That's what we talked about, like in Vegas, one of our first things as well. That's like my biggest thing that I don't want to fall into is that you start to think that it's over now, and you're like, right? So always, I would fear if I was going like a competitor, whatever you want to call it, right? But somebody who's just like constantly just head down, constantly working, trying to make it better, don't think that you know everything, and just listen to people. That's like the most fierce competitor you can go against. And as soon as somebody is like thinks they know it all and they're the best, that's the time when somebody else comes, right, and just takes it over.
Definitely.
So that's kind of what we've been speaking a lot about, that we're like, okay, now we did this, now it's just on to the next thing and try to figure that out.
This is why I'm really interested in your journey and like invested in like what happens next. Because I personally believe that someone can always outcompete you. Always.
Yeah.
Like on a one-on-one, I don't care who you are, you still have a chance of going down.
Yeah.
You could be the best Super Smash Bros. Player in the world, the best chess player, you could be the best boxer in the world. It's like one little loose punch you weren't expecting, it's like you're done. Whereas once you switch from that solo entrepreneur to now you have a team, and you guys, you know, you're talking about building up the team more, and you think about like where this is going to be in even 1 year is crazy to think where that's going to be. Never mind 5 years, blah, 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 blah. So instead of the one-on-one, it's like, bro, it's like once you get that team momentum going, it's like that's how you become extremely powerful.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's so easy to get caught up in, you know, the marketing and the team and building out the team and all of that. But it's also the product, right? It's like, how do we make the best product as well? Like for the people who are actually in the communities. Mm-hmm. That's like the main thing.
That's the bread and butter, bro.
Yeah.
You can't get past that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to figure out.
Yeah, and like we see it, you know, we've seen it every month this year. School Games has been incredible. Like we love it. And we see people who, you know, they do the pump and dump. They're able to make a lot of sales 1 month and the next month they're gone. Yep. And so it's like the marketing is just like one piece of it. And if your product's not solid, you got a lot of holes in your bucket and the water's just going to disappear.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I was going to ask Max this question, but it's actually better to ask you guys because he's too humble. There's no way he could ever actually answer it. I want to talk about Max as a leader for a second. I'd love to get like a little bit of an insight because a lot of people who listen to this, you know, they have their own community. They probably want to build a team. What, in your eyes, are some of Max's strengths as a leader? What are some of the things that you think he's done really well that would be applicable for people who want to do the same?
First thing I want to say actually is just like his ability to just listen. So like always be open to ideas. That's like the main thing actually, I think. Because I know Dan always has a lot of like different ideas. And like we all have ideas, but
bro, we could never work on the same team together. We would be like, okay, so yeah, I actually think Skool Masterclass Rocket Ship is a really good idea.
You're well accepted.
yeah, it's just that's the main thing I think for me. Like it's just like when we have an idea, we can just be like, right, this is the idea, and like you've gone back and forth a lot about ideas, like this, especially the mastermind idea. So when we launched the mastermind, like we weren't going to do sales calls for it. And Dan just kept saying, we need to do sales calls for it, like so many times. And we were all like, nah, we'll be fine. Like people will just be interested. And turns out we needed the freaking calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like just having that, just being open to whatever we, like trusting us with ideas basically.
Yeah. And he kind of already hinted at it, like you saw at the beginning, right? Like he is very good at listening, but he's also very good, like, he knows how each one of us individually like reacts and responds to different things and like what we need to hear and not hear, right? And what you should say and not say to each one of us individually, which is a great, you know, aspect as a leader. But for example, like he said that with Dan, right? He said Dan is, you can tell when he's not feeling well or when he is feeling well, right? And he knows that. And that's the example that he was just mentioning. Like when we first were going to do the mastermind calls, Dan was like I think I could crush the mastermind calls.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, Dan, we just need help with the 125s. Like, even I was saying that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
We're
we
saying
need help
it,
with the
yeah.
125s.
He was in his masculine. He was like the bull behind the cage. He was like, put me in.
Come on.
Yeah, and then
Dan, why do you have a ring nose piercing?
And then a day went by, right? And then I hopped on the call the next day, and he said it again. He's like, I really think I could do good with this. But he wasn't as vocal, right? And Max was like, I think we should let Dan do the mastermind calls. It's just like, let's just try it out, right? But he's great at just trusting us and knowing that we have the same vision and that we're going to steer it in the right way as well as he would. So that's a really good quality, in my opinion. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I think for sure that really helps. And also, like, for me, the most, like, I think one of the most important things is that Max, like, really sees us as equals. And I haven't really experienced that ever before with, like, a leader, to be honest. A very good example for this is, like, when we arrived in Las Vegas, we rented an Airbnb.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And it was like a small little boiler room, right? It was the small little boiler room. And there, basically, like, I arrived, and I arrived very late. And I was like, yeah, go down, this room is for you. I was like, what? Like, it was like one goose room. Like, one.
It was like
good,
the master bedroom.
yeah, the master bedroom. And, like, Max and the team, like, wanted me to have that room. And Max literally slept on the couch.
Damn.
Because I was crushing it with the sales calls.
Yeah.
And that for me, like, meant so much, because I knew, like, yeah, you really see us as equals, and it's not about where we are in the business, but it's about what we do.
Right.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, but just to elaborate, like, yeah, like, Max I feel like he just puts us first. Like, and even just in a small little example about the Airbnbs, I mean, like, I've even fought with him, but I think he slept on the couch more than anybody this whole trip, just if it's like a bedroom not available. And that just really goes to show that he just, like, respects us, and we show the same respect back, and that's really what drives us forward, in my opinion. Yeah.
Leaders eat last, bro.
Happy wife, happy life.
Well,
That's literally it. I know that.
bro, thank you for bringing the masculinity in this Cybertruck down. We needed that counterbalance. Let's go.
But that's literally it. Like, I'm personally incentivized. If these guys are, like, happy and crushing it, it's just like, then it's happy days.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Genuinely though.
Yeah.
And again, like, I love, and this is not, we see this a lot across the communities on Skool that crush it. The leaders, it attracts, because it's a community business model, it attracts people who are, like, servant-hearted leaders. It's very different. You don't get that in all corners of business. You get a lot of ego, you get a lot of power trip, you get a lot of, you know, I'm the boss, you gotta respect me, I get the mahogany desk, I get the master bedroom, I get this, I get that, And there's just something about the types of people who want to lead communities that, in my experience, they come from that more servant-hearted place. It's a beautiful thing.
No. Appreciate that, by the way, guys. That's cool.
That's why I can never ask you that question. I have to ask.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the flip of that, I'd love for you, Max, to call out what you think each of these guys' superpowers are.
Yeah, like, we started as, it was basically a sales team.
Just a sales team.
Yeah. And then last time we were here, I had a call of, like, me and, I this thing to listen has been very hard for me, like, because I haven't, like, had a team before. But then, you know, when Dan came in, it was like, I think we should do sales calls. I was like, no, we shouldn't. And we did. And then we just doubled our sales. I was like, okay. And then it was like a lot of these things. As soon as I'm like, okay, Max, don't just test it out. I'm stupid if I don't do that and listen to these guys. Every single time it becomes great. So, but it was purely sales guys. And then I sat down with Dan and was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to do something else. And I was like, okay, Max, all right, flow with this. Let's try and find synergy between what Dan wants to do and that's good for the business type of thing. So what that led into is that Dan became, like, working with the customers in the mastermind and in the group and, like, being like a success coach. And people love Dan.
Oh, dude.
That's Dan's superpower, essentially.
Yeah, man.
It's unreal.
And then Dylan is like, our manager operator, like when we're out and about and doing things, he plans everything. I don't know if you've seen those TikToks, like I'm traveling with my man and I can shut off my brain. That's literally with
Happy wife, happy life.
But it's like, he takes care, plans everything.
He's the operator.
Yeah, exactly. And Miles is just purely sales. Super talented at sales, wants to build out the sales team. So we're starting to find our spots where we want to be. Yeah. And now we also have Aaron, who we can't see now, he's standing out there, who is super talented with video.
Mark's gonna hit me. Let's see. Can we get him? There's the boys.
Right there.
Oh yeah, we got the win.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically the setup. And yeah, we're starting to find our our core strengths type of thing.
Cool, bro.
Yeah.
So 2024, it's almost in the bag, almost done. It's been a big year for you, Max. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It's been a big year for a lot of us.
Yeah.
How are you starting to think about 2025? What's next?
Like every single time I think how big Skool's going to become, it takes 3 months. And then we have no idea how big it's going to become. I got that realization yesterday as well. We were here and we start to hear about a lot of people that are now coming to Skool and all of that. And I was like, oh, okay, it's going to become absolutely massive. So, yeah.
Just dial in.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah, like continue to grow it, obviously. Dial in the support thing so that our customers really enjoy it and making a better product. And then also, we want to move here. Like we want to get to the US and be in close proximity to Skool. And,
It's a big one.
yeah.
We just want to be in alignment with Skool, and we just want to make the product super good.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if people from the outside look at us and they're like, I hate those guys. But fuck, their product is just so
man.
good.
Yeah.
That's just what we want to do.
Yeah, it becomes undeniable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For real.
And I think. Sorry,
Yeah, I wanted to say we just want to have like when we're running the school games, and like almost all 10 are from our mastermind, basically.
Yeah.
That
the
it's
goal.
so good.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
We really want to have 1 month where all 10 people on the leaderboard are from the mastermind.
Full sweep.
Yeah, full
Yes.
sweep.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. It's a big goal.
That's the goal.
That'd be cool.
But also, like next year, obviously, we're talking about the mastermind. We're going to be doing in-person events, but also just more meetups. Like I talked about the power of it for us as a team.
In person's huge.
If we can imagine how powerful it will be for our customers as well.
Yeah, man.
So a lot more in person.
That's why the mastermind got started in the first place, because we saw what it did to us in June.
Yep.
And we're like,
Oh,
well, imagine what it would do if we met with all our customers and they met each other. That would be huge. And then that's how the mastermind started.
Yeah, bro, the game of life is like literally just like tag, you're it, like pass it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the ripple, you just like pass the ripple down.
Yes, 100%.
Insane.
Oh.
So, how have each of you guys like changed this year? What would you say is the biggest transformation you've experienced?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm just kind of going back to the team thing as well, but like I come from like the agency background and just almost doing everything myself. It's almost kind of like the trust aspect, right? Especially as being that, if that's what you want to call me, like the quote unquote operations guy or whatever. But it's like knowing that like having the vision, we all have that we can just like, if we give Miles a task, that it's just going to get done, right? And same thing with Dan if it gets done. But I think the biggest thing for me is just like allowing myself also to take opinions, because it's always just been me running my business thinking that like I know what's best, but like sometimes I don't know what's best. Yeah, especially obviously working with this guy, like he definitely knows what's best most of the time. So but yeah, that's been pretty fun. And just aligning myself with Skool has been a big change, because like I first heard about Skool in June of 23, and just getting behind something that's not my own thing has been pretty big.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I'm right in this. Like, you joined Skool Masterclass, formerly known as Max Premium, as a member.
You work for
we all
free.
did.
I joined I was in the Facebook group before he was
The
even on
Facebook
Skool.
group?
Yeah.
Man, Dylan's a day one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the Facebook group in like 2022 and the tail end of that. And then he launched the free SMMA course on Skool in June, and I joined that.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of from from there.
Emergence theory.
I had a VA because I need an operator. That was like when we sat on the first event. Matt, you were like, Max, you probably need an operator.
Yeah.
And then Sam said like, yeah, you can't have a VA. And I was like, yeah, like Dylan is like working for, like helping me out for free. And you're like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Yeah.
How did both of you guys get into, how did you meet Max basically?
Same way.
Same way.
You joined as a
Joined
customer?
Premium in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah,
Insane.
He showed value, and then Max let him do like co-working calls. So he
Yeah,
would
did
jump
free co-working
host
calls.
calls, and people just come and co-work. And then Dan joined during the school games. Post, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, because like I was trying to build my own school community at the time. And I have no idea what I was doing. And I saw like Max like rising up the leaderboard, and I remember his last 24-hour push. It was so close to like being number 10, and he did this amazing offer, which was like one-on-one VIP lifetime support of Max. And,
Oh,
like,
lifetime. Legend. He still hits you up like every night. It's like, hey bro, about that lifetime call.
I was like, fuck. If I can get close to Max, I'm like one person away from Alex Ramosi. I need to get in there. But
Yeah.
I had no money at the time.
Yeah.
I was like very spiritual wavy, like more that side, and I had no
Nah,
money.
no way.
Yeah, no
Not
way.
possible.
Can't
Are you serious?
imagine, right? So I sold my cryptocurrency to get in for $75.
Damn.
I got in. I was like, okay, let's just hop on every goal to like provide as much value as I can.
He was on every call.
He was on
Call.
every Q&A call, and he's like, value. He's like, value. By the way, like, if you did like onboarding calls for your
Damn.
people into the free, and then Max was like, no, and he's
Right.
like, yeah, and then eventually Max was like, all right, fuck, let's just do it. And that was kind of like the turning point where we actually all just kind of flowed in really like together as a team. Yeah, and it just all happened from there.
It's really interesting. Like before I joined the school team and before I sold the business, I was like, I called like all the top guys that I know to just like ask for their advice and like hear their perspective. I called like a woodworking carpenter friend of mine. He's got a big business in Canada or something. And I was like, what do you think? Like, just want your opinion, blah, blah, blah. And he just goes, dude, one of my mentors told me something one time. I just want to tell it to you. He says, business is really, really easy. All you have to do is find a rocket ship, hook yourself onto it and hold on as tight as you can. And that's what you've done with Skool. That's what these guys have done with you. And like, that's the huge opportunity. You don't have to be a community owner. You don't have to be an influencer or content creator. You don't need to make a course. It's like, the opportunities are massive. It's just all about like finding a rocket ship to go all in on, provide massive value, and then just like to the moon.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. Very
Going
smart
back
guy.
to your previous question, that was the same mindset shift for me. Like this year was like, I always thought it's kind of similar to Dylan's. Like I always thought I needed my own thing. I'm an entrepreneur. I would need to run my own business. But no, like you can just be part of something massive, and that's better. And you still, and like I guess that's another thing that's good is like you still feel like it's your business. You still feel like you have that control. As if you were an entrepreneur, it's just you're part of something much bigger. So
If you have the right leader.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which we do, yeah.
Definitely. This was cool.
Yeah.
First
Cybertruck?
Cybertruck podcast.
She was gassed.
Absolutely insane. So I mean, the plan is like get the boys in America. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
We'll be here next time we speak, hopefully.
Yeah.
Insane, brother. So cool. I'm trying to think of a way to end this.
Drive off.
Genuinely though, it's been super cool to see your guys' journey. Like I love to see it, man.
Yeah.
I'm invested. Like I don't watch TV shows anymore. I just like watch you guys.
I just want to say something too, because we all think this. I know Max says it, but like, dude, you specifically, and it's just to everybody watching as well. Like, you've given us so many good ideas, and like, been like, yes, I like that. No, I don't like that, and yeah, I don't think you've been wrong with anything. Like, you're giving us really good advice, and you've been helping a lot of us on this journey as well. So we just want to say, and we appreciate
We
you
like
as
you a
well.
lot.
That's good because I love you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely. Oh, we're doing all over the place. Yeah, bro, this is cool. But like, it's the community way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like to quote High School Musical, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
That's it. Roll it, clip. We're done.